Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm wearing the wrong glasses. Oh no. Hang on, let's fix that. We can fix that very quickly. There we go. Now, what are we going to be trying today? Well, this is a puzzle. We have had so many recommendations to try. I think it's a brand new puzzle. There's a story behind it. It's called The Hare and the Tortoise. It's not the original story. It says it's by Marty Sears, and indeed it might be. But it may also be by one of these fellows and fellowesses. So this, let me explain what's going on. So Scojo, whose puzzles we have featured many times on the channel, absolutely brilliant person, brilliant setter, has come up with the idea of encouraging that group of setters to create a puzzle in their own style. And I think if you go down this list, you will say that many of these people do have their own style. And then to invite one of the other setters, I might be getting that wrong, it might be many of the other setters, but one of the other setters to make a puzzle imitating that person's style as well. And then the idea is that you have to solve both and guess which is by the correct author. So this might be by Marty Sears, or it might be by GDC, or it might be by Phil the Hat, or it might be by Ratfinks. We don't know. But whatever, we know it's mimicking Marty Sears as Maverick flying over. Sorry if you couldn't hear aeroplane noise in the background. Now, I mean, Scojo has done a great thing for the Sudoku community by coming up with this idea, because I can tell you something. I mean, the grid of this looks fantastic. It looks at least interesting. We can all agree with that. There's a hare, there's a tortoise, there's a fox, there's a duck, there's a checkered flag. But the instructions to this are in rhyme. And I had a quick look through them before I turned on the webcam. What I can tell you is whoever wrote this is not just gifted at making Sudoku. This is not bad poetry. It really isn't. You'll see what I mean when I read it out to you. It is, I mean, it's startlingly brilliant, this. And apparently it's an incredible puzzle. So we are in for an absolute treat here. My only concern, and I don't really know how to address this, is that if the puzzle isn't by Marty Sears, I don't know how I'm going to deal with that, because whoever's done it needs to be credited. And that's going to be tricky. Anyway, I'll have to give that some thought. But anyway, let's hope I can solve the puzzle. That's the most important thing. And huge props to Scojo for coming up with a brilliant innovation as well. Now, what else do I need to tell you before I get to read the poetry? Let me think. I've got some birthdays to do. That is one thing I've got to do. Mark and I have been debating Thank Goodness You're Here, which is a game lots of you have said you would like to see us stream. Apparently it is a comedy type game with quintessentially British humour. I have had a look at it. I think it looks amazing. It looks like it might be a touch smutty. It looks like it might not be suitable for work. So I think if we do it, we'll have to have some sort of warning or make it clear it's not suitable for kids or something, because almost all of our content, well, all of our videos are obviously in that genre. But I was thinking about, like, we did stream Obra Dinn a while ago, and that definitely had some moments that while they weren't smutty, they were definitely violent moments in that game. So I would like to do it, because I've just watched the trailer for the game and it made me laugh. But yeah, we just need to give it a little bit of thought. So if you're a subscriber and we do reach a conclusion on that, when we're going to stream, you'll get an alert. But if you do have a strong view, do let us know in the comments, please. Other than that, what else do I want to mention? Our Patreon competition continues until the 20th. So if you haven't had a go at your Hollywood lunchbox yet, do have a check it out. Lots of sandwich Sudokus to try, and lots of you have been enjoying those puzzles, which has been great to see. Other than that, let's just do the birthday, shall we? I think there was something else I was meant to mention, but I can't remember what it was. Lucas, I'm really sorry about this. But Lucas, you turned 33 on Monday, and I somehow missed the message from your friend Lisa. I think the two of you are near Cologne, but I think your birthday party might be coming up on Saturday. So I'm in the window between your birthday and your party, although I didn't get the correct date of either. But Lisa is very grateful, Lucas, that you introduced her to the world of CTC, and apparently resulted in the cancellation of her Netflix subscription because she spends so long on Sudoku now. So Lucas, thank you for sharing the news that this channel is worth watching. I hope you had a brilliant birthday. I hope you had I hope you had chocolate cake, and you're going to get more chocolate cake at your party. Next, Laura, I think this is for today. Laura, your fiance Gwyn wrote to us and said it's your birthday, and you are getting a chocolate cake with an extremely favourable ratio of icing to cake. That sounds fantastic. I've not seen a picture, but the fact that Gwyn knows what to do, I think, is a good sign. And we had a picture of, let's see, these your bubs, I think they're called. Let me look at the names. Ratty, Meepy, is that Polly? Might be. Sheepy, Splatty, Platty. Platty must be the platypus one. And Ducky, I was going to say. No, it's not Ducky, it's Roly. So, well, I'm sure they all wish you a happy birthday as well. And then finally, Peta, it's your birthday. And I know this because your boyfriend Andreas wrote to us and said that, oh no, it's not your birthday. It's not your birthday. I'm wrong. It's nearly your 1 year anniversary of meeting, because you met harvesting potatoes in a small village near Berlin. Isn't that lovely? And to celebrate your anniversary, you're going on a paddle tour, and you might get this message. I think it's your birthday it's your anniversary tomorrow. That's what's happening. Anniversary tomorrow, and tomorrow will be when you watch this video, and tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary. So I'm getting my dates mixed up. But Petter, I hope you and Andreas have a very good time and are able to celebrate. And with that said and done, let us turn our attention to The Hare and the Tortoise by Marty Sears. This is the rule, or these are the rules. I'll try and do this justice. Let me tell you the tale of a hare I know, who mocked an old tortoise for being so slow. You think that you're faster, the tortoise replied. Then race me and prove it, or swallow your pride. The hare found the thought of a race quite amusing. He'd win, even if he spent half the time snoozing. Of course, said the hare, suppressing his laughter, I'll run the race thrice. You'll still finish after. They set up their racing grid neath the blue sky, where normal Sudoku rules always apply, and waiting to meet them by their starting blocks, the judge of the race, the neighbourhood fox. Their racing lines travel in any direction, but never share cells or cause an intersection, except where they both end, the checkered flags sell. Both lines must avoid all the blue ponds as well. On Tortoise's line, a slow thermo by name, the digits can increase or just stay the same. Hare's line is a fast thermo, digits still climb, but these go up by at least 3 at a time. That is until box borders, where the hare naps, and his thermo can restart, at low digits perhaps. And finally hare smugly shows off a line that enters each box once, including box 9. I'll announce the winner, fox shouts through the grass, by displaying a digit through which he does not pass. And duck, who's excited to watch this race live, says, The digits in my pond must sum up to 5. So can you help settle this age-old debate? Who wins the race, and who is too late? Is it best to be swift, or steady and slow? Now let's all get cracking. Ready? And go. Isn't that brilliant? Isn't that brilliant? I will have to just scan through it again to check I understand the rules, but I think I did as I was going through. So let's say that there's a race between tortoise and hare to go to a checkered flag. There was something about the duck pond. What was the duck pond? The duck pond, the digits in the duck pond sum to 5. Okay, that's something I can understand very clearly. Now, what about these thermos? Oh, and there was a fox that was... the racing lines travel in any direction. Now, I think that must mean that we can go diagonally, but never share cells or intersect. Both lines must avoid the blue ponds. The tortoise's line is a slow thermo. So what that means is, let's say, let's go to the line tool and draw a line. So say that the thermo went like that, then normally along a thermo the digits have to rise, but these digits could be the same. So if this digit is 3, that could stay at 3. It doesn't have to rise, which it normally would. So that is going to be what the tortoise has to do. Now the hare, so say that was a 3, the next digit on the hare's line has to be at least, oh, well, it depends. It has to be at least 6. Oh, but it is more complicated for the hare, because the hare's digits go up by 3 at a time until you hit a box border, which, well, if we're going in that direction we might not. But let's say that the hare did this. And let's think about what that might mean. So 3, this has to be at least 3 higher than 3. In fact, that would have to be 6, I'm noticing, because then this, we haven't hit a box border, so we then have to go up by 3 again. So we'd have to go 3, 6, 9, and then we can reset, is what it says. The thermo can restart. So that could be anything again. That could be 5, that could be 8, and then that could be 1, that could be 7, something like that. Oh, except that we do have to be careful, because we have to go into every box, enters each box once, including box 9. And enters is in capital letters, and once is in capital letters. Right, so what we can't do, we can't sort of have aggressive zigzags, can we? Because that pattern has clearly gone into box 5 twice. And aren't we already in box 9? I don't know. Enters each box once, including box 9. I'm not sure if that's saying that we have to go back into box 9. Also, I've got to remember we can go diagonally, haven't I? Because I think everything I've drawn so far has been orthogonal. Anyway, what else? The fox is announcing the winner by displaying a digit through which he does not pass. So if the tortoise won, I mean, yeah, that could mean anything. I mean, it just means that if the tortoise won and had 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 on his line, then that digit would be 4, 5, or 6. And that, I think they're all the rules. So do have a go. Do have a go. What an idea, and what an execution of the rule set. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Right, the duck had to be either 1, 4 or 2, 3, didn't it? Because the duck cells add up to 5. Now, I suspect the fox is a very late question. What's in the fox? So we're going to have to work out. Oh, yeah, hang on. The fact that the rabbit, I said the rabbit, I should call it the hare, shouldn't I? The hare has to go into every box. Yeah, well, okay. So how does it get into box 3? That's quite hard. Yeah, okay. So it's got to, well, if I understand the rules correctly, what colour should we have for the hare? Let's have pink for the ears of the hare. Well, it's got to get in. I think the only way it could get, well, that could be a junction, and that could be a junction. So I think the hare does that. But then it could go diagonally, so we have to be careful after that. So that's how, whoopsie, that's how the hare goes through box 3. And that's pushing the tortoise, which I presumably I'll use green for, into one of those 2 squares for its first move, because it can't go that way, because then to get out of box 3 it will run into the it'll run into the path of the hare. So right. Okay, so what I can now say is that the hare, sorry, the tortoise, I'm going to get that wrong all the way through. The tortoise doesn't have any sort of efficient path to the checkered flag, because if the tortoise went in a sort of in the way that the tortoise you would expect to move, given the tortoise probably doesn't like to go very far or very fast. That is the route, or something like that would be the route the tortoise would go. But that can't be right, because if we did do this, I don't think the hare can get out of the top of the grid. Because, I mean, I suppose the hare would have to visit box 1, but then okay, the hare can't get out. There's no way to get that line segment out. So the tortoise, I think, has to go up here. And therefore, right, so here is an interesting question then. How does the hare get into box 7 at all? Because if the tortoise goes like that, or indeed, whoopsie, or like that, how does the hare get into box 7? It can't get in, because it would have to go through there and then it couldn't get out. So I think that the hare must do that, actually. That's the only way I can see it can get in and out of box 7. And that will allow the tortoise to come there. Oh, hang on. Hang on. The tortoise is now on the wrong side of the line. I've done something wrong, because I can't get the... what have I done wrong here? The tortoise now... I don't understand. Hang on a minute, what's going on? The tortoise... Yeah, hang on. What on earth? I don't... Yeah, so what I'm not understanding is how does the tortoise get onto the bottom side of the pink line? Am I missing something really obvious there? I think I am. I just can't see it. Because however I connect up the pink strands, this pink strand to this pink strand, or to that one, I can't see how I can get the tortoise through that line. But there must be... Maybe... No, there's just no way. There's just no way of doing it, is there? What am I doing wrong there? The tortoise can't go there. Is that wrong for some reason? Because that can't be wrong. That can't be wrong. Because you just can't get this out. So the tortoise must come through here. But then I've got to get the hare into box 7. How do I do that? And get this out? I've got to do that. So that's the only cell I can possibly get the hare into. The hare does this. And somehow or other, this pink line needs to get to this, to the hare, because that's what the pink line is. Now, maybe there is just no way. You can't do it. There aren't enough line segments. You know, you could invent things. You could try and think, oh, okay, I'll do that or something. Oh, I see. Is that? Oh, okay. Sorry, I hadn't thought of that actually. Oh, and that deals with the question about how the sorry, I could for some reason I couldn't see that at all. Isn't that strange? That deals with the question about the hare. Whether the hare has to go back into box 9, because the hare can't go back into box 9 like that, because then it would enter box 6 twice. So the hare must do something like this, something like this, something like this. I don't know exactly how this will work. This will have to be the lower lines. So, oh no, hang on, now I've gone back into box 5. Hang on, that just, oh dear, dear, dear. Oh dear, sorry. Sorry. There isn't any way of doing this. Sorry, yeah, the problem I'm seeing there is that, yes, I can construct a path. But how do I avoid this? Now going back through box 5. And you might say, oh, you can do that, but I can't. Because now, clearly the path is not ending here, is it? So some part of the path needs to go to the checkered flag. And now this has to get out. And I've cut the border of box 5 4 times. And that cannot be correct. So, you know, even though I could construct a path, I haven't obeyed the rules. So this is still wrong. I'm doing dreadfully badly at this. Okay, so now what do we have to do? So hang on, but that means that the tortoise, which can't go there, and can't go there. So how does the tortoise do this at all? Maybe the tortoise just can't win. No, it's said that they both go to the checkered flag. So the tortoise has to not go to the checkered flag. I mean, this is classic Marty Sears. It's a sort of rat run-esque nonsense where you have to basically figure out a ludicrous path that just seems completely counterintuitive. So, right, so the tortoise loops the hare. I almost said the rabbit again. But does... Hang on, let's reinstate that, because that I was comfortable with. I'm pretty sure that's right. But how do I... oh, right. Hang on. I'm not actually sure this is right. I still don't see how to do it. But I was thinking, rather than go straight, if the tortoise loops around the hare... No, that's not going to work. It's going to isolate this. So if the tortoise loops around the hare, let's just say it does that. That would work. Ah, okay. There you go. Something like that. This might not be exactly right, but the principle is at least possible, isn't it? Because now my pink line can duck round the edge here and get into there somehow. Somehow. We have to get to box 1. Yeah, and then cross box 2. So that is the answer. I mean, it's not the answer, but that is the principle of how we achieve what we have to achieve. We have to send the tortoise round the back of the hare and up to the north entrance for the checkered flag, and therefore okay, how much discretion is there in terms of any of these paths? And the answer is, I think, an awful lot, because the way that the hare is going to traverse boxes, well, actually box 9 might be difficult. Okay, and I've totally, right, I've just realised something. My path has re-entered. Or, okay, the path has entered box 9 here. So I suppose the argument is, because the path starts here, that is not an entrance to box 9. And this, right, so this is explaining why Marty has put the that enters each box once, including box 9. It's to make it very clear that you have to re-enter, which you only understand once you actually understand the path and how the path must work. This is it's already absolutely brilliant. Okay, so what do we do here? We leave the path going. We understand the principles. We need to try and work out how the path has to move now, given the constraints on the thermometers that must emanate from the hare and the tortoise. So the tortoise's path is much longer than I was expecting. Okay, the hare's path we know is coming into the south, so that must be a correct thing. We don't know that that's joining up like that, do we, or do we? No, we don't. Could do that. We don't know that... Oh, the one area I was thinking is a bit restricted is through box 9. Because you can't have too long a thermo, can you? If the thermo for the hare went like this, I'm getting all the colours. If we had that, that wouldn't work, because we have to jump by 3 each time. Yeah. Okay, right. So here is something I hadn't appreciated properly. Yes, in fact, I'm going to go back up here now, because how does the hare move through box 3? And I'm going to claim that the way the hare moves is like that, because otherwise I'm going to visit more than 4 cells in this box. And I can't do that, because if we start with 1 and only go up by 3, we get to 4, then we get to 7, and then the next digit would be a 10, which is not allowed in a puzzle. So we can only take 3 cells in any box. So how? Yeah, how does the hare get through box 9? I'm going to come back to that question. If we can only take 3 cells, but we know that the tortoise... Yeah, how could the tortoise ever take that cell in completing a ring around the rosy to come round the back of the hare? I think if the tortoise takes that cell, it forces the hare to take this cell. And that will lead to a path that is too long. So that is not on the tortoise's path, and therefore the tortoise's path is those two squares. There we go. That's a tiny win for the good guys, isn't it? But now, how does the hare traverse box 9? Well, the hare has to go into that square, has to exit that square, and only take 3 squares altogether. So, no! So that's what happens. So the hare does that, but then could do that, or that, or that, or that. Oh, good grief. So what do we do now? Right. Okay. So doesn't the hare have to go straight into box 5? This might not be a correct deduction, but that's my gut reaction. And the reason that's my gut reaction is that I know that the hare, having reached this square, is going to go into one of those 2 squares and enter box 8. So the hare can't enter there as well, otherwise that would be 2 entries into box 8. Ditto, the hare is going into one of those positions in order to move down to this square in box 9. So again, the hare can't do that. So the hare's first move is like that. Yeah, okay, how do we get into box 1? Remember, we can only enter a box once. I think this is going to be very forcing, actually. Because I can only take 3 cells in this box, and I have to get from box 5 into box 1. Because if I go into box 2 and then into box 1, to get to here, I'm going to have to re-enter box 2 again, aren't I? So I think you have to do that and straight into box 1. Now, how does the tortoise get out of the checkered flag? Because the tortoise must do that. This is really, it's so constrained, actually. But now we don't know how the hare moves. Well, although we do know the hare must take one of those 2. Because the hare can only take 3 cells in box 2, but has to traverse each column of box 2. So the hare takes one of these 3, one of those 2, then that one. It can't re-enter box 5. No, it can't. So the hare doesn't go there. So the hare takes one of those 2, and then one of these 2 in order to get to this square. One of those 3 bobbins to traverse box 8, and then one of these 2, but I don't know which one. Yeah, and it could go there, because if it did diagonals, it would traverse box 7 in only 3 cells. Oh, okay, well, we got somewhere. Okay, so here is a little point, because the entropic nature of these lines means that square must be a 1, 2, or a 3. That must be a 4, 5, or a 6. That must be a 7, 8, or a 9. Doesn't apply here, because we don't know whether there are 3 cells taken in box 1. We do know that the first digit that the hare takes in box 2 is a low digit. And then that will be a 4, 5, or a 6. So that will be a 7, 8, or a 9. That will be a 1, 2, or 3. That will be a 4, 5, 6. That's a 7, 8, or a 9. This also, this has this principle as well. We don't know there. We know that's low, that's middle, that's high. Low, middle, high. All middle digits are used by the hare in traversing the middle of the grid as much as the hare needs to traverse the middle of the grid. I mean, I can see various things here that are very likely to be true. I've got no idea how we're actually going to prove them. So one thing I'm looking at is look at row 4. Surely the tortoise is going to have a low digit in row 4 when the tortoise goes through row 4, which is going to be in one of those two squares. I mean, could the tortoise start with a 5? 5, 5. See, the thing is, you can do weird things, can't you? 5. Okay, but then you have to come through this column again. So 5, 5, 6, 7. No, 6, 7, 7. Diagonals are good on slow thermos. 8, 8, 8, 9, 9. Oh, not quite. 10. Okay, so I do think that the tortoise, it's quite hard even to show that. The tortoise does take a 1, 2, 3 or 4 in this row. So there is a sort of 1, 2, 3, 4 floating quadruple in those squares. So the rest of the digits are 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, which is not very surprising there. And not very surprising there. I'm going to put it in because it was a deduction. I mean, that can't be 9, because then this would be a 10. That's something we've just worked out. That digit, however I traverse box 7, that digit is a high digit, isn't it? So that's a 7, 8 or a 9. Okay. It's a bit strange, actually. This has got a unique solution. How on earth? It's not the fox, is it? What was the fox? Oh, no, the fox, we're going to need to know who wins the race to do the fox. I think... Is it the tortoise? So we know that the tortoise... Oh, I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure at all how to do this. Let's try and... Should we... If the tortoise was as efficient as it could be, let's start it with 9 here and see what digit we end up with by the time we end up back on the tortoise. So 9, 8. 8 again. 7. Then we could repeat 7. Then we could repeat 7. 6. Then we could repeat 6. Then we could repeat 6. Then we need a 5. But 5, 5. That's absolutely appalling. It's absolutely appalling. So by slow thermo logic, this thing can be ludicrously high. Nine, 8. Okay, but here is a little point. We did say earlier that the tortoise used up all the medium digits in column 5. Sorry, the hare uses up all the medium digits, so the tortoise can't have a medium digit. But I don't think... Did it have one? 9, 8. 8? No, it didn't. 7. But if this wasn't 7, it would have to be 3. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2. 2, 2, 1. Yeah, 1, 1. Oh, no. Although... That might get into trouble in this column, actually, because I've already got 2 low digits here. So if I do have a 3 here, yeah, that's true. Okay, you can't have a 3 on the tortoise path in column 5 that's below this line. Because if you do, the point there is really interesting. Don't accuse me of being boring at parties. I already know I'm boring at parties. But the point is a bit interesting. Because the tortoise, to get through this column, this digit would have to be a 3 or lower, wouldn't it? But we've still got to cut this column again with another 3 or lower digit. And now I've got too many 3 or lower digits. And indeed, the tortoise itself would have to be low. So this is very interesting, I think, because that means that the digit that must appear on the tortoise in below the line in column 5, which can't be 4, 5, 6, we've just worked out it can't be a lower digit, has to be 7. I think it might have to be 7, because how could I make it 8? I can't make it 8 and get to the flag, because I can't have, these 2 digits are definitely different, so the most I can be at is 8 here, and then I have to go here, so that's 8, and then I have to go into one of those, which must be 7, and I can't go here, because if I go there, oh no, I could, because I could go 7 here, and then 7 here. Oh, okay, so all I naturally know is that one of those is a 7. And that this is an 8, actually. I do know that. So that's an 8, and that's a 9. So I do know some things as a result of that little experiment. That's not 8 by Sudoku. 8 is in one of those squares. That probably, no, that can't be the tortoise digit. So, I don't know what that means, because the tortoise might be able to go there. But, oh, but if one of those is a 7, that's a 9. Okay, that's something. So 9 is also down there. I want that to do something for where the tortoise can go. But I don't see why the tortoise can't just sort of do something like that. One of these is a 7. One of those is a 7, actually, by Sudoku. One of these is a 7 by Sudoku. Okay. So there's a 7 on the tortoise in box 5, but I don't know where it is. But if it's there, then you have to go there as the next move, because you remember this can't be, we can't be at 3 by the time we get here on the tortoise. This has to be more than 3. So that's at least 4. Now can that be 7? If we do 3 7s, maybe it can. 7, 7, 7, 7. Oh, golly, golly, gosh, this is confusing. This has to be at least... This has to be at least 4, because otherwise we're going to have to cut again and we're going to be in big trouble. It's probably very difficult for this to be 4, actually. Yeah, it can't be 4. Because if it's 4, let me show you. If that's 4, the best this is 3, which means that where we cut column 7 again, the tortoise will have a 1, 2, 3 digit in one of these 2 positions. But then the tortoise itself will be a 1, 2, 3 digit, and there'll be too many 1, 2, 3 digits in this column. So actually that's not 4. Which might be interesting. So this is 4, 5, or 6, or perhaps 3. No, we've just said you can't have 3. But you could have 4 if you went diagonally. Oh, this is really confusing. Actually, something I've just noticed, which might not be... I'm going to come back to this digit. Have I really got a 4, 5, 6 triple in column 8? How could that be anything else? It can't be 7. This would be too high. And if it's 3, the tortoise needs too many low. No, that is valid. So I have a 4, 5, 6 here, a 4, 5, 6 here, and a 4, 5, 6 here. So that is not 5 or 6. So I've got a 7, 8, 9. I might have a triple. It depends what that is. But I also know that the digit that is next on the tortoise in this row is a 4 or a 5, I think. So if it was there, it would have to... No, how could it be there? That's it, isn't it? It can't be here. Because if it's here, it is 3 or lower. And if it's 3 or lower, by the time we get here, we're on 2 or lower. And then again, we're going to have too many low digits because the tortoise will be lower and that digit will be lower. So the only way we get out is there. Whoopsie, this is tortoise logic we're doing, which, well, that can't be 8 or 9. So what we expected to happen has happened. There's an 8, 9 pair, but that's not going to help us know where the hare goes. But now this digit is interesting. But it could be 6 again. Oh, so okay, 4, 5, or 6. Which is probably interest. Oh, wait a minute. I've got a... no, right. Okay, look at column 8 again. Because I know that the second digit that the hare takes as it traverses box 6 is a 4, 5, 6 digit. And that can't exist there because that can't be 4, 5, or 6. So I think the hare... Oopsie, the hare goes there. This digit is a 4, 5, or 6. Now the tortoise has to go through the little cul-de-sac we've created. Oh, I'm getting all my lines confused. So that digit is now... now we're in a different world, though. Because this digit, I don't think, is under the pressure. This could be a lower digit. Bother. So that can probably be... Well... Yeah, we're going to have at least one digit lower than this digit. So that could be 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, possibly. I mean, 6 feels unlikely, doesn't it? 6, 6. We'd have the devil appearing. 6, 6, 6. 7, 7, 7. 8, 8, 9. It's so ridiculous. It's going to be something like that, because that is what Marty Sears does. Now, hang on, I've got an 8, 9 looking at that. That's a naked single 7. Sorry if you've been shouting at me about that square. I didn't see that at all. So that's not 7. So does that have an effect back up to the sermo? No, it doesn't work like that. There's an 8, 9 pair. Oh, look at the column. I've got a 1, 2, 3 triple in the gaps. No, that did nothing, unbelievably. I've got a 4... I've got a 4, 5, 6 triple. So this is a 1, 2, or a 3. Sorry, it's outrageous. I'm being made to do Sudoku at such an early stage here. Right, what does all that mean then? We must know that... No, we don't know, do we? I was going to say... No, what I was going to say is just wrong. Okay. Don't know what to do now. So, how do we get a grip on this? If this is 4, 5, or 6, this is not a high digit, is it? So, that was 6, and that's 6. Well, there'd be a 5 here, so that could be a 5. I mean, I'm going to I know this is a ludicrous pencil mark, but I'm just trying to spot these weird triples that are emerging. It feels like 7, 8, and 9 are trying to be restricted in column 7, but I don't know how to do that. Oh, wait a second. Here's a really interesting point. Yeah, this is valid. How does the hare traverse box 8? Because doesn't the hare need a high digit in this column, and it can't have an 8 or a 9? So there must be a 7 on its path in one of those squares. That knocks 7 out of here. That makes this 7. And that tells us the path of the... That does tell us the path of the tortoise, because we know that the digit that had to occur on the tortoise in column 5 was more than 6. So now... Well, now this is very interesting, because this, well, even if we go like that, we can't go 7, 7, 7, because the 7's in the wrong place. In fact, here's another point. If we have 7 on the path of the hare as it traverses box 8, what digit do you have as the middly digit? That's a 4, isn't it? Because that's going to mean one of those is a 1. We can't have a digit lower than 1 here. So if we have 1 there, the minimum digit here is 4, and then the digit here could be 7. It can't be any higher, so you have to go 7, 4, 1. This is not 4. Oh, botheration. So there's a 5 or a 6 on the line here, so that can't be 7. Sort of, you have to be a bit careful with how these thermometers work. That can't be 1, because of the 1 here. So the maximum... Right, this can't be 7. Because I know that the next digit on the tortoise, which might be here, but it's definitely not 7. It's a maximum of 6. So that can't be 7. So that can't be 6. That can't be 6. We're making our way back along the line. That's as good as we've done, actually. Maybe. Okay. So now what do we do? Has that helped us? I've got a 4, 5, 6 triple. I've nearly got all sorts of things going on. That's 6 digits, isn't it? That is 6 digits. I've got a sextuplet in column 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 have to fit into those squares. And that means that the other digits are 7, 8 and 9. So the hare is a 7, 8 or a 9. Sorry, there's windows rattling. It's very windy today. Okay, what's going on then with... Wait a minute, so I've almost got a problem. I don't think this can be a 5. If this is a 5, where do I put those digits, which are then going to be a 5, 6 pair in row 4? They can't both go in that square, so that definitely is not 5. It doesn't put any upward pressure on this. But it does mean, okay, so it does mean that what we're going to have next, one of these squares is going to be a 2, 3 or a 4 for the tortoise. So the tortoise can't be a 5 there. Ah, no, it's very close, but it isn't doing it. No, I thought I might get a quadruple or something, but didn't. Can we... Oh, hang on. This can't be 4 now. Because the digit in here must be lower than this digit. So it's a 2 or a 3 digit or a 1. It could be a 1, 2 or a 3 digit. Because it could go diagonally, be double 1 at the start. It's very easy to make a mistake here. But I don't think that can be 4. And if that can't be 4, that does give me a 1, 2, 3 triple. That doesn't do it. Sorry. No, that doesn't do anything. I've then got a 4, 5, 6 triple. I know there's a 4 in one of those squares. So the digit in one of these two... Wait a sec. Yes, okay. Because the digit in this domino is definitely lower, that's on the tortoise, is lower than this digit, so it's a 2 or a 3 or a 1. The 4 in this row, it means there's a floating quadruple between those 5 cells, because there's a 1, 2 or a 3 in one of these. Where in those cells then is the 4? It's here. And this was on a duck that adds up to 5. So those are a 1-4 pair. That is not a 1. So that means that the digit that is above this is a 2 or a 3 in one of these squares. And then there's also the counterpart of this digit. So these digits are from 2, 3, 5 and 6. Which means I've got... That's right, I've got a quadruple there, which will make this a 4. I'm just going to think about that again. I think that is right. I do. I think that is right. Because I must, in this row, I've put the 4 in. So I must have a low digit that's lower than this. And I must have whatever this isn't. So this is a 4. And now, oh, that doesn't do it. Oh, but one of those is a 4. So by Sudoku, that's a 4. It still doesn't do it. Oh, no. Come on, you rotten puzzle. That digit's a 1 by Sudoku. So 1 is in one of those 3 squares by Sudoku. Okay. So the upshot of that is what? I have not got a clue. I know that there's a 5 or a 6 on here, don't I? Because the starting digit for the hare as it goes through box 2 is not a 1. So there's a 2 or a 3 on here, which means there's a 5 or a 6 in one of those squares, giving a virtual pair with that. And then there's an 8 or a 9, and then a 1, 2 or a 3. The 1 is in one of those squares, almost certainly on the tortoise. So if I don't know, these squares are from, oh, those squares are not 1, so they're from 2, 3 and 7, are they? Is that, all right? I made another ricket there. I've got 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. So the rest of the digits in this row are from 1, 2, 3 and 7, and these can't include 1. So they're from 2, 3 and 7. Right, so I now know how the hare traverses box 4, because it doesn't go to this square. Because what would this digit be? It couldn't be a low digit, because that would force this to be 7, and then 7 to 9 is not a gap of 3. And it can't obviously be anything else, so that has to go there. Oh, no. That goes like that. The problem is that takes all the pressure off this digit, which now just simply has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. I suppose it's 2, 3, 4 or 5. It's not 4 because we've put 4 in the box, so it's 2, 3 or 5. It's almost interesting. Almost. Okay. Okay, this could be a very long video, I think. I don't think this is that easy. Okay, so what do we do next? If we... I think there are probably some configurations I could rule out. Do we? I know this is 5 or 6. Oh, I know there's a 4. That's not 4, look. Does that matter? That's 5 or 6. I've got a 1, 2, 3 triple in that box, which feels like it might matter. I'm not sure how though, if I'm honest. Down here I've got a low digit and a high digit. Oh, I don't know how to do this. I'm not having any good ideas, which is a worry, isn't it? It must be... No, I'm sorry. I feel like I've hit a total brick wall. 6 is in one of those two squares. Is there some way I know how these boxes get traversed? There probably is a way that I know how the tortoise gets through this little 2x2. But I mean, the problem is whenever I look at this, I can see loads of different ways it can work. I mean, I can't rule out it going there. If it goes there to a 3, I suppose then it can't go there, because that triple would need to be a 1, 2, 3 triple. But it could go 4, 3, 2, 1, couldn't it? What would be wrong with that? Don't think very much would be. If we go here, this would have to be the 2 or the 3. And then we couldn't go here, because that can't be a 1, 2 or 3 then, so we'd have to go diagonally. But that's fine, we can go diagonally. That seems to be an absolutely explicit allowance on behalf of the puzzle. So we're going to have to come up with something better. And that might be easier said than done. Could we... I don't know. I mean, is there... I wonder whether there's some... Maybe it's the fox. The fox. This is desperation time now. I mean, is there an argument that says that either the hare or the tortoise has seen... Certainly, both have seen 9, haven't they? I think only the tortoise has seen 8 and 7. Although the hare has seen 7, although we don't know where yet, because the hare is seeing 7 in one of those squares. It's almost quite interesting, that. It's not impossible, it is something to do with this. What about 1s, 2s and 3s? Can we say anything interesting about those from the point of view of either the hare or the tortoise? What you see here, so what you really want. So for example, the hare has seen 4, 5 and 6. Definitely. You might have to sort of colour 2s and 3s or something to see whether you can prove that the hare has seen different digits. Possibly. If you make that... Oh, I don't know. I'm confused now. Oh, here's a small point that's probably worthy of note. We must go from here to here, mustn't we? Because we're only allowed 3 cells in box 6, so then we have to exit. So we've tidied up the path of the hare on the right hand side of the grid, which is a small win for the good guys. but probably not enough of a win, I think. So maybe if we go, if we go down there, what do we know that digit is then? That would have to be a 6. And then we go to a 5 somewhere in this column, to a 5 here, a 4 here, 3 4s on the diagonal. Don't see why that's a particular problem. Okay, I don't know. Could we get rid of... I don't know where to look. Oh dear. We might get stuck here, you know. This is certainly not impossible. Where shall I... Where am I meant to look? Is it going to be something to do with how the hare gets through box 2? Is there something intelligent I can say there? I'm going to claim no. Is there something intelligent about how... there's something very... It's not a very good point, but I'll make it. That the way the tortoise gets through column 6... Yeah. Maybe that is a point worth making. So the tortoise at the moment, there's been a 1, there's been a 2 or a 3, and when the tortoise goes into column 6 from here, whether it's here or here, it will be a low digit, won't it? So it can only have one more, it can only have one low digit in column 3, and it must be here or here. Because there's only... So between these cells are all of the digits 1, 2 and 3 in the column. So the rest of the digits in this column are higher digits. So that digit and that digit have to be from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I know it's such, I mean, it's such a poor... Does it matter for this? No, that would have the right sort of value, wouldn't it? But doesn't it mean that the... No, it doesn't. I was about to say this can't be on the path, but it doesn't mean that at all. It means if it goes here, it goes there. If it goes there, it goes there and there. Or no, maybe it could even go here, here, and here. No, that wouldn't work. That would break this square. Only one of these is a 2 or a 3. So, I mean, okay. Can we put 1 in? No, we can't put 1 here. We know 1 is down there. No, so I don't know how to resolve that. I'm unsure. How do we do this then? Do we have to colour things? That's a slightly terrifying thought. That digit's... actually, I will do that. That digit, let's pick a good colour. Actually, maybe it's a bad idea. I might use letters. I'll make that A, just because I can see that's A. And then I can ask where A goes in that box. Look, and it has to be there, by Sudoku. Does that matter? It's a good question. Yeah, that's A. Okay, we are actually getting a little bit of traction from this. So if that's true, if this is A, then that can be B. So B is in one of those. I don't think this goes anywhere, to be honest. I can't. I know B is in one of those squares, but I don't know which one. I know B is in one of these squares. Is that helpful? I don't think so. That's not a 1. I've got a 1 pencil marked in one of those squares, so I'm going to take the advantage that gives me. It's definitely a 1 in one of these squares, definitely a 1 here, definitely a 1 here, definitely a 1 here, 1 here. Chase the ones around the world. So if... no, it doesn't. I don't think it does anything. Would be very powerful if we knew that this didn't go diagonally, wouldn't it? Because if we know it goes there, then that has to be a 6. Oh, that can't go there. There you go. That's a weird point. It has to go here. Because if it does go here, the point is the next digit is in one of those two squares. And because you've gone orthogonally, because this digit has to be higher than this one, even if you make this 5, you'll make this 6, but then you'd need 7 here, which is impossible. 7's over there. So in fact, the next digit, that you have to go there. And now this, we know, can't be 5, 6 or 7. Oh, sorry. No, that's absolute nonsense. It can't be 7, 8 or 9, is what I meant to say. Because 7 is over here. So this is 5 or 6. But does that mean... does that mean it's the same as this, or is it different? I don't know. If it was different, it would be 6, 5, 4. 6, 5, 4. I think that's okay, actually. That would be 5. That would be 5. That would be 6. Everything would get resolved. It would be really quite helpful. Oh, no, hang on. Ah, there we go. I know what I've missed. Look, in this column, there's a 4, 5, 6 triple. It's hard to tell there is, but there is, because we know there's a middle there, a middle there, and a middle there. So that digit is 2 or 3 by Sudoku, forming a pair, meaning this is 5 or 6, so it is not the next tortoise digit. The tortoise goes here. The tortoise can't go there, because then it would have to close like that, and that would be a 1, 2, 3 triple, and this would be higher. That's something we've just learnt down here. So the tortoise goes there, and the tortoise closes. Now, is this good? Don't know, but it's exciting. Well, oh, I've spotted one thing that I hadn't spotted before as a result of that, but that square now is 2 or 3. It can't be 1. We might want to colour the 2s and the 3s as well. That is not an impossible thought. But here's what I noticed. That's A, so that's not A. That actually is B, which means this is A. So these are the same. Does it matter that they're the same? Does it mean that they have to be 6s or they have to be 5s? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I haven't got a clue. Okay. I've got a 5, 6 pair in this column. And that affects this digit very slightly. So these squares are they're quite constrained, aren't they? Oh, here's a question. Where's 7 in column 6? It's there. So that's not 7. That gives me an 8, 9 pair in... Ah, okay. Right, that's quite interesting. What's that? What's the fox now? The fox is a middly digit. The fox is 4, 5 or 6. I wonder, so if the fox was can we prove... Oh! The fox is not 4. The fox is not 4, because 4 definitely appears on both animals' lines. There's a 4 on the tortoise, and there's a 4 in this column on the hare. So that is not 4. So that's B. Because it's not A. So B, B. Oh, that's so annoying. B is in one of those. We don't know which one. I don't know what that means. One of those is 7 is what it means. Is this so this is a 4-7 pair, is it? Okay, that's a 4-7 pair. Doesn't seem to do anything lower down. But hang on. Haven't we? Don't we now know who wins the race? I know who wins the race. This is bizarre. But the in this column, I know that the hare has all of the middly digits on his path. So that means that the tortoise must win the race, and B never appears. B, oh, this is brilliant. I've done it. I understand. This is forcing everything, because B never appears on the tortoise's path. That's how. So having discovered that the tortoise wins, how could this square be a 5? Because then 5 and 6 would appear on the tortoise's path. So that must be 4. Actually, that's not going to do anything, is it? That means, okay, so B is there. This is an A-B pair. But maybe I can do that somewhere else. So I know that B is the digit that doesn't appear on the tortoise's path. Oh dear. So B is there. Well, okay, hang on. How can... No, that's much more straightforward. How could B, which is the same, these two digits, how can they be 6 now? They can't be 6, because if they're 6, the next digit that you get on the hare's path is a 9 in both cases, and you can't put 9 by Sudoku in those places in column 9. So B is 5. B is 5. Right, here we go. So B is 5, A is 6, B is 5, A is 6, A is 6. I think that might mean these have to close up. I think it does, doesn't it? There's no way we can put a 6 or a 7 in any valid position that isn't a direct connection there. So B is 5, A is 6. That means that's 9 by the jump of 3 rule. That's 9, that's 8. Look, it works. That can't be 3, or it wouldn't be a jump of 3 away. That's 3. So that's 2. So that's 3. I was not expecting that. Actually, that's a 1. So it jumps from 1 to 3 naughtily straight away. Classic Marty Sears nonsense. That's 3. That's 2 by Sudoku. Okay, well, that was very, very, very exciting. That can't be 3. Jump would be too small. Phone's buzzing. Never mind. Oh, hang on. I better check that. I got into trouble. Oh dear. Okay. Okay, but now surely we can do some magic, can't we? So this one goes 3, 6, 9. This column hasn't had 1 8 and 9 into it. That's a 5, so that's not 7. There's an 8, 9 pair in this column, so the hare is a 7, believe it or not, so that's not a 7. This is a 6, just using our rules. This is not a 2, so this is a 1, 3 pair, so these are a 2, 7 pair, that's not a 2. These are 3, 5 and 6 by Sudoku. Maverick makes another pass, but I'm very, very excited because I think that we might be in better shape than we were in terms of solving the puzzle. Now, what is the next deduction that we're going to make? 7 is there. Well, that's going to be interesting because that is the way We can't have the 4 that high up, because we couldn't go from the 4 to the 7. Oh, we could have got that from Sudoku of all things now. But okay, but if we go to the 7 and we must, then we must go through there. The hare must travel through there. So this digit is definitely on the path. Actually, that is useful, because then surely we have to go there, because we have to traverse this box in three jumps. So we must do it efficiently, otherwise we've got a problem. Although, I have just realised something. Okay, I'm going to take that back, because I have just had a horrible thought, which I don't think I've used, thank goodness, but that junction is totally bogus, isn't it? Why couldn't it do that? And the answer is it probably could, and probably therefore does. So I'm going to take that out. Yeah, I'd never used this. I mean, I think I do have to go here. Oh, well, that's quite good. That must be a 4. It can't be a 5 or a 6. So that gives me a 4 and a 1. That's actually much more useful than I was expecting. 4 is in one of those squares. But I don't know. One of these is... It's not a 7. So one of these is an 8 or a 9, depending. If it's there, it's 8. But I don't think I know. The way I'll deal with that is I'll put it like that now, to try and keep track of it. Right. Now, okay, so what else can we say? There's a 2 or a... that digit cannot be low, so that can't be on the path. It sees 2, 3 and 1. Doesn't do it either, does it? Right, so maybe we've got to be a bit more Sudoku orientated. I never like doing that, but maybe we do have to be. Okay, the middly digit in the... Oh, this is an interesting point. The middly digit on this top line is not 4, which is required down here, and it's not 6, so it is 5, and I can place it. And that's really cool, because that means that this must be the digit. That's... oh, it can't be 3 then. It would be too close to 5, so that's 2. It's absolutely brilliant, this is. So it does that. That's how you traverse. Now, that doesn't mean that we know how we operate within box 1, but we have at least got most of the hare's path sorted out now. Okay. So, no, it doesn't actually do it, does it? So 5 is in one of those squares. 3 is in one of these squares. 2 is in one of these squares. 6 is in one of those 2 squares. 9 is in one of those 2 squares. One, 2. That's an 8 by Sudoku. That's a 9 looking at it, so that's a 9. Okay, that might do something, maybe. No, apparently not. Does that mean I know that? Of course it doesn't. That would be absolutely ludicrous for it to be so kind. There's an 8 in one of those squares. I can't see how to do it. Oh, where's 5 in this box? It's there by Sudoku. So that's 5, that's 3. There's a 5 in the same cells. We've got 6 in down here. So this is a 5-6 pair. Which I guess means 7 is in one of those 2 squares. That gives me an X-wing on 7s. So 7 is in one of those 3, but not that one. As the way to think about that is where could 7 be in column 2? So these 2 squares now are known to be 4 and 6. 4 and 6, I think. So where's 4 in row 2 now? It has to be there. That displaced a 3 pencil mark, which doesn't do anything. 4, 6. 189 here. And that's not 8. And that, oh, is that naked? Might be naked single actually. It seems to have to be 8. So that's 9 and that's 1. And oh, nearly. So we get a 1-8 pair at the bottom. What about the bottom of column? 2, 4 and 9 into these squares. So we can place the 4, which is on the path, don't forget. So we can tidy up the path a bit more. And these are a 2-9 pair. 9 I can place in row 2. It's got to be there. And that's also placing 3. Which is... oh, I thought that, oh no. I thought that was going to place more things, but it didn't want to. Do we know what this digit is? Can that be a 1? I know it can't, actually. That's quite instructive, surely. I'm just thinking, where does the path of the hare go through box 1? It definitely starts here, doesn't it? So it can't go from there to there, because that would have to be a 1. And it can't take more than 3 cells, so we do just immediately exit. But what that means is we get absolutely no info on what this is. It's only Sudoku that will affect it. So perhaps this isn't where we're meant to look next. Ah, here's an interesting point. What's the high digit in these 2 squares? It's not 9 anymore. It's 8, isn't it? Oh, it doesn't actually do it again. It doesn't seem to be hitting anything over over in its row. We could still do rinky dinks in the bottom of the grid. So 1, 2, 3 and 8 into the corner. Literally nothing is ruled out. Those squares are both 1, 2, 3 and 8. That one's not 3. So 3, yeah, 3 is in the bottom row, so that square is a 1. We know that square is a 1. It's got to be different from 4 by a sufficient amount. That's going to do things. There we go. Yeah, that does things. That's doing oh, I didn't get 3 in the corner, but it's doing a lot. Yes. Yes. Okay, well that's great. So we go 1, 4, 8, 5, 6. There's a 5, 6 pair in this column, so that can't be 5. And what do we need to complete this row? We need 2, 2, 7, 9. So that's 2 or 7. 2, 7 pair here, so that's not 2. This is 2, 7 or 9, I think. It might only be Sudoku we need to do. Do we use that 2, 7 somehow? No, of course not. What a ridiculous notion. Gosh, it's a very long video. But what a puzzle. What a puzzle. Okay. Oh, I've got a 5, 6 pair in column 2. So the digits I'm missing are 2, 7 and 8. So where... oh goodness, you're kidding me. So that's 7 or 8. That's 2. This is 2 or 7. And that's 2 or 8. So we get chocolate teapotted, I think. That's really very, very, very annoying. I mean, it must. I think it. Actually, am I wrong? I feel like it must be Sudoku at this point. Haven't we used up all of the rules and basically almost determined the entire path? I think we have, and I don't think this digit's under any pressure. So we're going to have to come up with something else. 1 is in the top left-hand corner of the grid by Sudoku. Oh, maybe column 1 then. Let's have a look at that with my 2, 7 pair that I've got there. 3, 5, 6, 8. So that digit is 5 or 6. And that gives me a 5, 6 pair, which means, I get a 3. So that's an 8, and that's huge because that's the digit we've been looking for. That is the digit we've been. Look at this, just filling in. Well, that's now stopped, but that was very exciting for a moment. Because now the path of the hare goes there and then up. Yeah, this is going. Now the 7, the 8, the 7, the 4, 4, the 6, the 5, the 5, the 6, the 5 and the 6, the 3. That should be a 2. And if we haven't made a ricket, that's a 6. My goodness me, what a puzzle. I mean, the only thing I'd say about it is it's almost too hard to be a normal Marty Sears puzzle. Oh, hang on. And we need to make sure we go 1 to 4 there, don't we? So let's make sure, have we drawn the path and does it go up in steps of 3? I think so. 159, 147, 148, 39. And then does this always increase or stay the same? Yes. That is a fantastic puzzle. I'm pretty sure it's Marty. I mean, if it's an imitation of Marty, what was the list? I mean, there are some constructors that I'm privy to knowledge about, their first languages on this list, and this poem must have been written by somebody. It must be written by somebody who is as English as possible, I would suggest, or English, American, Canadian. Pedaling pianist is the only other one on that list. Juggler is Juggler? I think Juggler maybe. I think it's Marty. I think it's Marty, but it could be, if I had to guess, from this list, I would go first place pedaling pianist, second place juggler, I think. They would be my other possible guesses. But if this is an imitation, hats off, because it's a Marty Sears puzzle, effectively replacing a rat with a tortoise and a hare, and with a ludicrous path, of course, with exceptional rules, exceptional wit. It is a magnificent thing, a magnificent creation. I absolutely love it. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. Let me know if you've got better guesses than me as to who constructed it. How should I deal with that? Because we should have some sort of reveal. I could reveal it into tomorrow's video, or maybe I'll reveal it in a comment or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, thank you so much for watching if you're still with me. As I say, props for the constructor, whoever that may be. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic. I'm back because I thought it was only fair that I should find out who did create this puzzle. I also realised I hadn't pressed tick, so let's press tick, and we can solve counters only 4 people. Okay, I do know who wrote the puzzle now. I'm just wondering if it's revealed here. It doesn't seem to be. It seems to be more poetry. So let's read the poetry. And so, after 360 winks, Hare appealed to the fox that the race was unfair. The fox declared, "Sorry, Hare, you're out of luck. The winner was Tortoise." "Quack," said the duck. The rain is coming down aplenty, but it's all kicking off here. That is, I mean, well, this puzzle was created not by Marty Sears. It is absolutely ridiculous. It was created by the pedaling pianist. To all those of you who guessed that, I'm very impressed if anyone was able to tell that wasn't Marty just as we worked through it, because it's a staggeringly brilliant and so Marty Sears-esque puzzle. But my inclination that, well, I'm pleased that the pedaling pianist was my second guess. And And yeah, it's just an absolutely brilliant, it's a brilliant Sudoku standing on its own rights. I mean, this would have been on the channel whether or not Scojo had invented the idea of imposters, because it's so good. But to do this in the style of somebody else just makes it ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous, and I love it even more for the fact it's just copying another constructor style. The Peddling Pianist, I genuflect before you. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Bye for now.